Hey guys, good morning. Happy new moon in Leo, okay? So today I want to do another deck review here. Hopefully you guys can see me since I got plenty of natural light now. There is some music playing in the background, so I try to make sure that it wasn't too loud. But today I want to review this deck that you see right here. This is the Be Not Afraid deck by Jennifer Sodini, and it was printed by RP Studio, the same studio that actually printed the Dreamgate Oracle by Danielle Noel, which I will review in the future. But this deck can actually be found online, I believe. I'm not sure about Amazon, but I know for certain that it's now available in select Barnes and Noble stores. This is actually where I found this deck, to be honest with you. The deck itself is $30 over here plus tax in the US. In Canada, it's $39 plus tax. I don't know how taxes work in Canada. But that's pretty much what the entire deck itself costs. This is the design of the box here, as you can see. And then this is the guidebook. The guidebook itself is actually pretty thick, about as thick as the Dreamgate Oracle one. But this guidebook itself, there's a lot of information in here, especially a very lengthy intro. Other than that, there's a lot of, I can say for certain that Miss Sodini did her research on the angels well. And speaking of angels, well, okay, before I even get to that, these are the cards, by the way. These are the cards, these are the card backs. Um, Card stock quality, it's good. Not too stiff, not too thin, just about right. I can work with it. But these are the backs of the cards. I will be getting to this in a minute. So what I was trying to say is, to be honest, I have never heard of this deck before. I've never even sought it out. I've never even looked for it or anything. What I'm holding in my hand right now is an angel light crystal. I was actually carrying this when I went to Barnes and Noble like a while ago. So I've never seen this deck before, never heard of it, never even heard of the artist herself. And this deck just happened to appear out of the blue as soon as I turned into the section where all the tarot and the mystical stuff and the metaphysical stuff is usually located at Barnes and Noble. Well, I happened to turn there and I just happened to see this deck. And I was like, what is this? Never heard of it before. And plus, this deck wasn't even wrapped in plastic. It was clearly returned by somebody who had it before. Or maybe a customer ripped it open because they wanted to see how the cards were. Oh, and by the way, these are what the cards came in. This little package here. So, this is their box. But the box itself was already opened. And like I said, I was only carrying this. So, I'm not sure if this deck completely found me or if it was intentional or if it was, I guess, destined for me to even find this deck in general. But here we are. So I bought it, and I've been using it somewhat. Okay, so let me move this out of the way so y'all can see the cards. I do want to tell you that this is unlike any other angelic or angel-based deck that you've ever heard of. This is not your typical deck from, let's say, Radley Valentine, Doreen Virtue back when she was in the whole metaphysical world, or even Kyle Gray. This deck is way different. It's way, way different. Okay? These are the designs here, and hopefully you can see so I can flip through them. But this deck is not your average love and light angels kind of deck. No, this deck is very strongly based on the actual depiction of what the angels look like in the angelic realms, and it mostly takes its inspiration from the Kabbalah, the Bible, more specifically the Book of Enoch, and plenty of research, plenty of people who may have had encounters with angels. In fact, the artist herself said that she encountered an angel herself before she started to make this deck, and she worked with said angel. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of said angel though. Otherwise, I would be able to tell you. But if you are looking for a deck that is, love and light, super bright, mystical, and good feeling, this is not the deck for you. There was a reason that I found this deck, and I can only speak for me personally that I've been working with the angels, mostly the archangels and the angels, for quite some time, but I wasn't sure if I should keep working with them, considering how far I've progressed on my journey. Okay, so needless to say, this deck, the energy of this deck is very obviously it's very outwardly, but at other times it can be very dark. Like it can be very, very dark and heavy hitting. Okay, like if again, if you paired this deck up with, I don't know, the an Angels deck from Radley Valentine, I can't think of one specific that comes to of a specific one that comes to my head. But if you put this deck up against Radley Valentine, you probably go for Mr. Valentine's deck, because this one, it can be dark, it can be heavy hitting, it is outwardly at times, and if you're not really a seeker of how the angels actually look, like for example, this can actually be quite unsettling to some people. This card in particular, okay? I have yet to get this card, but if you are not interested in what the angels actually look like, or if you're really diving deep into the biblical history of the angels or celestial magic, which deals with angelic beings and the like, and the stars and what have you, this isn't your deck. I advise you strongly to not pick this deck up, because do not pick this deck up if you're not ready for it, because this deck is not for everyone here. Getting to the artwork, when I first used this deck, when I first picked it up and flipped through it, since the box itself was already open, I'm not going to lie to you. This artwork, some of the card, well, the majority of the cards here kind of unsettled me. Like I wasn't used to, angels being actually depicted like this. But yet, like for example, here, let me go back. No, not this. Give me just a minute here, guys. Like for example, okay, this, I'm used to this, okay, because this card reminds me of the World card and the Wheel of Fortune card, particularly the World card, because I've seen this before. It represents the four apostles, the four fixed signs of the zodiac, and the four elements. Okay? This I'm used to because I've seen this a lot. So this does not bother me at all. This didn't really unnerve me. Let me flip through it. Okay? Versus, let's say, this, or let's see, not this. This and other stuff. Like, let me just keep flipping through it so you can see. Okay? The artwork, I can understand why it would be somewhat unsettling for some. It was for me when I first picked this deck up, because, like I said, the energy from this is way different than any other angelic deck that you've ever picked up. So this is another one. Like if you're not used, this one, this is what I mean when I say that it can be somewhat dark. If you're not used to the actual depictions of angels based on Sodini's research and and the other research that you've done, then this deck might scare you for a minute, okay? It did for me when I was first starting out. And to be honest, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to connect to it, okay? I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to work with this deck because of how heavy hitting and how sometimes dark it could be. But like I said before, there was a reason that this deck found me. And ever since then, I've been doing my best to just kind of work with it. By the way, this is another angel that I'm used to, okay? I've seen this one before. I have seen this in many drawings and depictions before, so this doesn't scare me. But to put it simply, I've been working with this deck on and off. And I can tell you right now, this is not a daily pool deck, okay? Do not get this deck with the intention of using it as a daily pool, like, oh, I got this, okay, and then just move on. No. In this guidebook here, she not only explains the meaning behind the card, okay? She not only does that, but she also gives you a ritual of sorts that you can or cannot do if you want to. It doesn't matter. It's up to you if you want to do it. But if you do, it allows you to connect deeper with not only the card itself, but the image that's shown on the card and the angel from this deck that has reached out to you. I will tell you that the last time I ended up getting, where is it? Where is it? I got this card the last time, the Realm of the Archangels. Okay, and pretty much wasn't surprised that I even got this card to begin with, but it pretty much said that the archangels were there. So let's say you get a card like this. You don't just take it. You don't take it. Read the message in the description that's being shown in the guidebook, and then just kind of leave it. No, she implores you to sit down with this card, feel the energy from it, feel which of these angels, or if all of the archangels, are talking to you. And then she offers you the chance to actually connect with them or what messages are coming through here. So, like I said before, this is not a deck for a daily pool. This is a deck for people who are very, very serious, again, about the depiction of the angels, who practice celestial type magic or angelic magic or even Enochian magic, which I just learned recently. But if you're a big fan of angels and you really, really want to connect with them and you're not really afraid of how they actually look, this is your deck. Okay? And like I said, it's at select Barnes and Noble stores. Me personally, I've been working with this on and off, and as I said in the beginning, I wasn't sure if I was going to connect to it, but it's one of those decks where I just need more time. I need more time to actually just kind of bond with it. Okay? Because the messages that I get from this deck in general are very, sometimes they're pretty straightforward. Like, whatever angel from whatever angelic realm is coming to me, it'll just let me know right off the bat. Like, honestly, I really wish I could find this archangel. Where is this? I think the first time that I got this deck, it was first angel that I've ever pulled was Barakiel. Barakiel, okay? If you don't know anything about that archangel, yep, here it is, right here. This was the first angel that I pulled, Barakiel, okay? If you don't know anything about this angel, I believe the name means the blessings of God. Unless that's another angel. I'll have to research again. But this was the first card, and again, I knew that this was the angel that was reaching out to me, but I wasn't sure how to connect. Like, what would I do? You see where I'm getting at with this? The whole point that I'm making here, because I feel like I'm all over the place, is don't pick this deck up just because you like angels, but you're too much about, love and light. This is one of those angelic decks where it forces you not only to look at the bright side, but you need to dive deep into the dark and shadowy side. Because these angels depicted in this deck, there's a reason that their depictions are like this, and it's not just because of the artist herself. Maybe that's how they actually look, but they're there to help you dive deep into yourself. This deck is very transformative. I would say it's really good, again, for people who are really big fans of angels and work with them, like myself, or if somebody wants to work with the angels but feels very disconnected from them, this is a good one here. This is not the deck for somebody who is closed-minded. Yeah, that's putting it nicely. I could say more, but that's putting it nicely. This is not the deck for you if you are very closed-minded and you believe angels have human features, look like us every day, and they're supposed to be love and light. Don't get this, okay? So all in all, I'm not sure if I'm kind of on the fence when it comes to keeping this deck. I'm not sure if I want to keep it or if I want to give it away to somebody who's ready for this. But something keeps telling me to just keep it. Normally, I work with the angels and archangels without a deck. I just light a candle and you can sit down and just kind of connect to them in my own personal way. It's a rare moment that I use a deck to connect with them. But something is telling me to not get rid of this deck. So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep working with it. And if I still have a hard time connecting with this deck, I'm going to give it away to somebody who really, really wants it. But in the meantime, out of 5, I would give this deck a 3 for now. I'm sure the score will improve, but like I said, the energy from this deck is unlike anything that I've ever worked with. Okay, so for now, I'll give it a 3. So, with that being said, I want to pick out my favorite cards. I want to pick out my favorite cards so far. Okay, and this is the first time that it's not many. Okay, so I just want to pick them out. So just give me a minute. Let me go pick these out for you. All right, here they are. If the camera is picking them up properly. And the reason I picked these cards is because, one, I'm used to these types of angels here. Well, technically, this is the angelic realm. But everything else, I'm used to these types of angels because usually these are the first types of angels that you encounter. The angels that are closest to us and the archangels. And plus, these angels are like directly next to the creator. Okay? Most people know about Metatron. Okay? Like I said, this altar cloth that this deck is on is Metatron's cube. I resonate deeply with that symbol, and even now I still don't know why. I'm still trying to figure out why I resonate with that symbol, but I just do. So Metatron, not surprised. But I picked these cards because out of all of these cards here, these are the ones that I deeply resonate with for the time being. And usually when they come out, I automatically know like that, I know what the message is. Sometimes there's additional messages on top of the main one that comes out anytime that I draw these cards. But ultimately, these are the only cards out of the entire deck that I can pick up the message immediately. Maybe with a few additional messages here. The other ones I'm still working on. Like I said, I'm still working on this deck. But these are my 5 favorites so far. Okay? So hopefully my review of this deck makes sense. If you still have questions about this deck, please post them in the comments below and I will try to answer them the best way that I can. If my review was somewhat helpful for you, thumbs up is always appreciated. But that's all I got to say about this deck, honestly. I don't think it's a bad deck, but it is definitely not a deck for everyone. You'll know when you start seeing this deck. You'll know that it is time for you to pick up this deck. You'll just know. Okay? So that's all I got for you. I'm going to go now because I got some things that I have to do today. So I'll see you guys in the next video, whether it's a deck review or it's just me simply talking to you. All right? See you later. Have fun. Be safe. Try to survive the heat wave.